everyone, my name is Jess from Wild Rice Sourdough and I run a very small micro bakery from my home supplying Trowbridge with real sourdough bread. So what I'm going to do today is show you how I make my bread, and the bread we're going to make today is my white seeded loaf, which is my most popular bread. It's going to be really quick because actually the process takes 72 hours from start to finish for each bread. So I'm going to show you how I do it in a couple of minutes. Okay guys, so what we got here is my freshly fed sourdough starter, so all my yeast is nice and happy. And my flour, water and salt has been sitting for an hour. This helps to create gluten in my bread and makes it much easier to handle. Now my hands are nice and clean and wet, and I'm mixing my starter in with that flour and just making sure that it's all fully incorporated before it sits for 1 hour to start to develop before we do some stretches and folds. So here we go guys, we're doing our first set of stretch and folds. We're going to do 3 of those with a 30-minute rest in between. This builds tension and structure in our bread. The last set is going to be a coil fold. And now we move on to our pre-shape. So I'm dusting my surface, bring my dough out. I've got enough for 2 breads here, so I'm going to split them out just so I can show you different shaping techniques. Basically, it's more stretch and folds and then rolling that dough towards me to form a nice tight ball. Once these are then done, they're dusted with more flour, covered with a tea towel, and then left to rest for another hour. So these are now rested for an hour. I'm going to show you 2 different shapings. This is a round shape that's going to fit into the round Banneton proving basket, and it's then going to go into the fridge overnight. As you can see, that's much tighter than it was. Pop my little logo on there. And now this one's a different shape, which is going to give you a more standard loaf shape. But all that shaping is creating loads of tension for when that bread rises in the oven. More flour, popping any air bubbles, and then straight into the proving basket again overnight. So this dough has just come out of the fridge. We're going to turn it out onto some greaseproof, and then using a razor blade I'm going to score this dough so you get a nice controlled burst in the oven. And there we go guys, so that's the end result, my beautiful white seeded sourdough. It's so lovely and light because we created all those bubbles through our bulk fermentation. It smells divine, and that's going to make the most beautiful avocado toast or the best bacon sandwich. So if you want to hear more about what I do here at Wild Rice Sourdough, you can find me on Facebook or on Instagram, or you can go over to my website, which is www.wildricesourdough.com. I open my pre-orders for the next week on that weekend. Get in there quickly because there are limited availability, and either you can collect from my home here in Trowbridge, or I do local delivery for a small fee. Thank you so much. I hope you learned a little bit more about sourdough, and I hope to hear from you soon.